Welcome to Pitch in the Zone, our weekly gathering of coaches that help one presenter with a 3-minute pitch. The coaches include Nathan Gold, hailing from San Francisco, specializing in high-stakes presentations. We have Scotty Spursum, also from San Francisco, specializing in language and accent reduction. We have Michael Marchak, a C-level executive, author, speaker, and also an investor. Massimo Peroncelli, hailing from Thailand, an entrepreneur who will also double as our timekeeper. So for the presenter, if you want to pin Massimo's window, you will see the countdown timer going from 3 minutes down to 0, and then up again to see if you go over, if at all. And we have Rick Pollack, a presentation coach, hailing from the Northeast in the United States. And of course, our star for today is Ira Alquiros. Ira has been at Pitch in the Zone once before, presenting ReferApps. He is the founder and CEO of ReferApps. Welcome back, Ira.
Thank you, sir.
Your audience for today's pitch is? What is your audience?
Venture capitalists or, investors.
Okay, investor pitch. So we are looking forward to your investor pitch, Ira. Are you going to share slides? If so, please set them up right now and we can get started whenever you are ready.
Can you guys see it?
We can hear you perfectly. We can see the slides, very beautiful. And with that, Ira, the floor is yours. 3 minutes and counting.
Good day, everyone. For the past few years, the hottest investment trend is AI technologies. But there are predictions that up to 70% of jobs in some areas around the world will be somehow affected. If we do not have jobs, who could afford to buy anything? In the future, what do you think our jobs would be? How could you earn your living? There's got to be a better way that we could bridge the gap between the have and the have-nots. Let us start ecolution, an economic revolution of putting people back into the economic equation. Economy starts with eco, and it's really nothing but how fast you can share and recycle your money with everyone. This exchange will facilitate the flow of money that COVID-19 stalled. Introducing ReferApps, the newest social e-commerce app, keeping tab who really made the sale. From the beginning of time, word of mouth do not have a dollar value. With ReferApps, word of mouth finally found its dollar value. You and I are a walking and talking advertising billboard with a smartphone. What you buy and what you wear is what the world sees. When your friend asks you where you got your nice watch, you say, hold on a second, let me send you a link. ReferApps gives everyone a free, full-featured online store that you can totally customize whether they have an actual products or not. Here is that watch. This seller is giving 25% commission, the same budget they allocate to their sales and marketing team. But this is better. You only pay for a sure sale and you're helping them make money so they can purchase again and again. You can also pin it in your store to complement what you're selling. When you click refer, you can choose any platform, say Messenger. Click. Here is how it looks like on our app. Tag your friends, click the R and refer it. If your friend makes a purchase, you just became the permanent referrer for that item and you made some money. That easy. It gets even better if it's a recurring service like internet service, for example. That is actually how I got started in New York in 1998. We used to give 25% recurring commission so that the subscribers only need 4 friends to earn their service for free. Refer more and make more every single month. We simply open up our app to all products and services that you can think of, and anyone can do it. ReferApps empowers the consumers to be everyone's sales and marketing team. Our vision is to have all products and services include a built-in economic stimulus that benefits not only the sellers and service providers, but also the consumers, so everybody wins. We initially advertised $10 a day in Facebook for only 18 days, and over 41,000 members and 6,000 items already registered. We just relaunched our app at the App Store and Google Play Store. At this time, ReferApps was soft launched only in the Philippines during this pandemic to get all the bugs out. We are raising funds 2 ways, whichever comes first. 1, a bridge fund for $200,000 in SafeNote with 5 million cap. And 2, if you strongly believe that we can help change the world, a $2 million seed money for the remaining 20% of our Delaware C Corp common stock. This will jumpstart a collusion, build an awesome team, and deploy it as fast as we can. I think, we're out of time, but you can ask me about our grand plan to build a micro Wall Street to help rebuild economies one country at a time. Thank you.
Nicely done, Ira, nicely done. Quite a bit over time though. That's the one thing, like if we would be, and if you could stop sharing the screen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep, thanks. If we would be in a situation where you're really, really limited to the 3 minutes, I think they would have switched off your microphone at one point. You went 1 minute and 20 some seconds over. But nevertheless, very solid performance. I liked your rather conversational style here. Your slides are superb. But let me open up the floor, and I'm going to do that with Michael, because Michael put in a couple of really, really good comments into the chat as well, Ira. So if you want to grab those, if you want to look through those, always helpful things. Michael, please, the floor is yours.
So Ira, I felt you did a great job in being very conversational about how you were presenting. I thought that was good and made me feel very related to you. It was a good way of connecting with you that way. I didn't care for the first starting off that AI is killing jobs and we got to figure out a way to fix that type of thing. First of all, I don't believe AI is killing jobs, it's changing them. I don't think it's killing them. But that's a debate for another day. But again, starting off with something negative is probably not the way you want to start that. I also felt that throughout the pitch, it was far more focused still at the consumer than it was the investor. I think if you drag some of that content up front about your app, what you're doing with the app, what you're using the funding for, how you're going to plan on making money on this, how you're, the business model behind it, the investors will then tune into that information and be able to understand, okay, what are you actually trying to do here? How is it going to be different than some of the things? How are other industries taking this kind of approach, and is it successful, et cetera? As I mentioned in the chat, several wireless firms here in the United States are taking that approach now, bringing the friends and family kind of thing. If you bring 2 friends, you get discounts, or you're able to get some kind of benefit based on that. So there are things that you can do to connect those things from an investor perspective, saying, hey, this is working successfully as for these other industries. But if you said this was an investor pitch, 85% of it was towards the consumer, showing what's happening, how you do it, you click on here, the sharing, et cetera. I think it was far too consumer-based for an investor to stay interested. And to Claudia's point, it was a little long.
Valuable feedback as always. Thank you so much, Michael. And today I'm just going to hop around whatever I see on the screen. Usually we have our core team that I'm taking first, but since John was in Ira's seat last week and he came back today to observe with the coach's hat on, I'd like to open the floor to John. John, what did you think about the pitch, and what kind of recommendations do you have for Ira to improve it?
Sure. Thank you. In comparison to my more static pitch, right, with a lot of imagery, something I really valued here was the moving componentry of it. I wanted to ask if that was, a video you hit play from the start, or how you went about having so much movement into that, because that was really interesting.
Actually, it was, how do you call this? Instead of saying it over and over again, I had a person to animate it all. But that was a different video. So what I did was screenshot some of the portions where I think I might be able to use. So I keep putting it together, and sometimes in animation, and sometimes with transitions and things like that. And until about 30 minutes ago or an hour ago, I was still fixing all this stuff back and forth. So it's really not that hard. I keep looking for stuff, look online, and cut and paste some of the stuff, and the animation that was there already, I just screenshot it and added it to the thingy. So
Got it. No, I thought that was wonderful. I am not an expert here by any means, but maybe there is a way to slow some of that down through some of the portions, especially where you want to really like hit the home run. Uh, yeah, I thought it's a really interesting product. So wishing you really good luck out there.
Great. Thank you very much, John. Moving on to Rick. Rick, what kind of observations have you made, and how can Ira improve this version of his pitch?
Okay. Well, Ira, I saw the first pitch and I liked this better. I think you made a lot of improvements. One thing that I wanted to follow up on what Michael says, I think it really needs to be more to the investors. I think the first minute and a half, when you're talking about, the hottest trend in AI and bridging the gap between the have and the have-nots, and then recycling your money, I still didn't know why, if I were an investor, I would invest in it. I think if you started right with that picture of the watch, someone says, hey, that's a nice watch, and say, if people are going to be getting this app and they're going to be able to pay for their watches just by showing it to their friends. As an investor, I would say, oh, wait a minute, this would be something I can invest in. So I think that's more of to focus on that instead of how to use that app, why people are going to be paying for the app, how people are going to be making money from the app, and then as the investor, how they can get more people to use this app and what they're going to get on the return on their investment in that. So I think that was a thing. You went into the fundraising late. There was a chart there, a initial transaction slide that you showed for maybe around 5 or 10 seconds, and I thought that was a little confusing for an investor. Just a little busy on the slide. So I think if you focus it more on the investor and maybe just get right into, because to me, I figured it out when you showed the watch and someone saying nice watch. So I think if you started with that, and then why people would use that app and how they can make money from the app and what the investor can get out of it, that would make it shorter. And I don't think you really need those other things for the investor pitch. So that's I think. But yeah, I like the way it's changed, and I think it's going to really, as you finalize it, I think you're going to do very well with the product, with the app. Great.
thank you, Rick.
Yeah.
Good feedback as always, Rick. Thank you very much. And it just shows that sometimes just moving one part from your pitch to a different location, very often to the beginning, really can make quite a big difference. Moving on, Scotty, what observations can you share with our presenter Ira today?
Yeah, sure. Ira, nice to see you again. And the slides were really a big improvement. So that was terrific. And just in terms of delivery, the first like 2 minutes or 1.5 minutes or so sounded more like a radio ad. You had a certain tone of voice. And then when you got to almost 2 minutes, or it was counting down to 112, it got really choppy. And I'm wondering if that was due to cycling in some content right before this event, perhaps. And that was the meat of it, right? Is the online store, and the part that others have suggested you move up. So maybe make time to practice that ahead of time. I think then it would be less choppy and not so many ums and ahs. Also, in terms of investor data, I think you said you relaunched with a soft launch in the Philippines to work the bugs out, but what was I didn't catch the demand for it and how it cycles to me as an investor, getting to the dollars. And I'm just interesting to have two fundraising asks, right? Whichever one came first. I thought that was curious. And
I'm not sure how that would work either. I was just thinking either side we could win. So, minimize.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what other people think. To me, it didn't sound like it doesn't sound as clear as asking for one thing specifically, like one thing first, then the next. It didn't sound as, I didn't get as much confidence from it, and may just be me. So it'd be interesting to see what other people thought of it. Maybe it's more customary, but I haven't seen it that often. So, and when you got further on towards the end, then you became more conversational. So we need to hear your conversational voice throughout to be a little bit more consistent.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great feedback. Thank you. Thank you, Scotty. And let me pick Liederman as the next one. And maybe you can also share your thoughts about the question that Scotty just raised about the ask. What is your opinion there?
Definitely about the ask. My opinion, I was lost when I saw that, really, because as an investor, I would think that you really don't know what you're going to do with the money, and you don't have a clear plan. So that would be a big red flag, I think. So yeah, that's definitely needs to be worked better, have more clarity. Definitely, I agree with Michael. The presentation was very consumer driven, and I also agree with Rick. I was completely lost in the intro, with that intro. And finally, when you got to the watch, then, I get it. I get the product. But I couldn't understand the connection between the have-nots and all that. I agree with that. Now, I saw your first presentation. I agree this one is better. The slides are much, much better. So I think you are closer and closer to figuring out what your real presentation, a strong presentation for investors will be. So good job.
Thank you, Liederman.
Great feedback. And that points to one thing, and that's going to be Ira's third time at Pitch in the Zone, because that's going to be a charm. I already know it. I feel it with the feedback from today. It's going to be stellar.
You can do 3 times? I didn't know you can do 3 times.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be exciting.
And so moving on, Massimo, what kind of feedback do you have for Ira?
Yes, thank you. I will not repeat myself and what everybody else said, because I agree on everything. Your pitch was a great pitch, even though it was more a consumer pitch than an investor pitch. So suppose it was an investor pitch. To me, as Liederman said, when you ask for like $2 million, it's a lot of money. You didn't even say anything about how you're going to spend it. More advertisement, or you're hiring more people, getting a bigger server for the million people using that. So if you ask for $2 million, there has to be a reason, a good reason behind that. And you didn't, or I didn't get it, how you are planning to monetize your platform. Of course, not in details, but just tell me as an investor, how will I get my money back? But I agree with what everybody else said. It was a tremendous improvement in the slides and the presentation. And talking about the slides, there was one thing I didn't understand. It was right before the COVID one. There was a big, like, forbidden blinking sign, and I didn't understand the meaning of that. You were forbidding or denying what? I didn't understand. It was big, so it was kind of scary, and there was no meaning behind it, for me at least.
That was actually a slide from another that I wasn't able to cut shorter.
Okay, so there's a good reason.
COVID-19 used to be on that slide.
Oh, okay.
So that's
okay.
why it was stalled by the COVID, and there was an X. So something like that.
But I'll talk to my friends who live in the Philippines about your app, so we'll have a couple of more customers.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Massimo. Moving on to Sam, the gift tailor. Sam, you've been in that position before. You've provided a lot of feedback to other presenters. What kind of suggestions do you have for Ira?
So first of all, I think you're confident in front of the camera, Ira, and you know your volume, your projection is great, and I think that that's half the battle, right? Is just being able to sit down and pitch, and not kind of get dry throated and lose your voice. So I think that at least was good, and that came across. I really echo a few of the things the others were saying, but I'm thinking I think I get where you were going with the AI. Mentioning. I feel like almost if you kind of tap into that, this is what people are thinking. All of this technology and AI is going to take my job away. I think if you kind of put that spin on that, this is what people are thinking, which is why they would want to use ReferApps to make money. People have been in this whole side hustle thing since 2019 has been all the rage. And because of COVID, they really want to look at extra streams. So that's where what I think, that was my impression, is the why from the consumer perspective. Right. So I feel like you need to let the investors point that out because, from the perspective of everyone in this room, no, this is not true that AI is taking away jobs, but there are people out there that think that, and therefore they may want to come to ReferApps. So I feel like you need to express that that's the why people want to use this app to make money. And then I'd lead that into what's the take up? Are people taking it up? What's the lifting for the people actually taking on the app? Because I want to know that people are actually going to want to do this. I saw that it looks like you have to set up a store, but how much work is that for the consumer? Because again, as an investor, I want to know that people are actually going to want to do it, right? And in enough volume. And those were unanswered questions to me. So in a way, you are kind of talking about the consumer because you need to let me know as the investor that people are invested or interested in it and are going to do it, that there's not too much work for them to even want to take it on. And I just take a look at the kind of, because I've seen some of this, I know somebody was trying to launch something similar, and they specifically, their niche was using social media influencers and similarly building a platform like this. But again, for me, what's the lift on the consumer to know that they're going to take it up, and if they have taken it up, show those numbers. I'm just having a quick look. Yeah, that was sort of my.
Actually, a lot of companies is doing a similar thing, but it's only for themselves. We built a platform on the app that anybody can use. Those people who did their own, apps, they could have used us. They can cater and change percentage or whatever they want to do with the app. So it's a free platform like Facebook of products that everybody can use. Even if you don't have any products, you can find products from other people, and it's right there in your store, and you can promote it. And actually the most exciting part of this is still coming. I should have spoken about it a little bit more about the advertising aspect of what we were trying to do. That we have a team of advertisers here in the Philippines who's helping. What we're going to do, how do we make money, is looking for merchants out there, or our merchants that we can help. We are going to spend the money to actually advertise them in Facebook, and bingo, we are the first referrer. If it's a service, we're going to keep making money over and over again. And then all those people after us who will be using the platform is transacting inside our store. So the app that we have can take pictures of your products. The app that we have can, just click friends and just send whatever you want to send them. So that's why we were trying to say that, from the beginning of time, there's no, word of mouth do not have a dollar value. But anyway, great comments. Thank you, Samantha.
Yep.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
We are not even done yet with the comments, but we only have about 5 minutes left on the clock. So very quickly, Hai, what were your observations? Anything you can add?
Just feed up from other people. I think it's a big improvement. I saw the original one. I like it. I like a lot of the animated, which is nice. And the initial, I'm originally from Vietnam, so the map that you have Vietnam in there kind of attract me. If you ever want to go into that market, let me know. All right. But other than that, it's a good job. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Hai. And it's always great to see you coming back. Debbie, what kind of feedback do you have for Ira?
Ira, I agree with what everybody said. You did a great job with the way you talk and just you real confident and really very well done there. And I enjoyed the slides and the animation. I thought that was really well done from a consumer standpoint for sure. I agree with Michael about the AI part. I think AI in the tech world is out there all the time, but I don't think consumers see it the same way, in my opinion anyway, that AI wouldn't stand out to somebody that's in their house or whatever. To me, it's a word that's used in the tech world, not in the normal, world, in my opinion. But I think you did a great job and it sounds very interesting.
Thank you. Thank you, Debbie.
Thanks, Debbie. And Scott. Scott, you will be in Ira's seat in about 2 weeks. What kind of observations have you made? Anything that you can add that we haven't covered yet?
No, I pretty much everything that was covered, I thought, but I really believe that the consistency of the slides, it started out with the animation, and I think it really needs to have more real quick information that will grab people's attention. But it was a definite improvement from last time.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And with that, Nathan, please take it home. You have another 3-4 minutes easily.
All right. Thank you very much. And I am also looking forward to the third time because it seems like you swung the pendulum almost this way and then all the way to the side. So let me see what I can do for you here. When you are asking for money, all people need to remind themselves that you're asking for a lot of money. I mean, when was the last time you asked somebody for a bucket of money, just to $1,000? Like maybe never. And we walk into these investor meetings and we say, hey, it's no big deal. I mean, you guys and ladies have zillions of dollars. We just want $2 million. That's all we need. And we'll give you 20% of our company. Oh, so the first thing I do is drop the 20%. Drop the 20%. You don't want to give that number up right at the beginning. Just let that be part of the negotiations and the terms. And just realize when you ask for money or you let people know you are raising, that's serious business. So you need to be very clear and compelling about that ask, because in some ways that's probably the most important part of the presentation, to be the most confident and compelling you. And if you blink, they can tell. Every investor can tell. If you're not confident about that ask, they can smell it. So don't ask for money is my message until you're ready. Okay? We're raising money. We haven't come to exactly how much, blah, blah, blah. Ira, I think you have too many messages going on here. And I would rethink the whole opening. If you go back and look at the recording of this session, you gave us at least 2 other openings, honestly, authentically, and in a conversational mode. It's all recorded, thank God. Because just go back and listen to yourself talk, and listen to yourself talk about what you're doing with the app. That's good stuff. Isn't this kind of influencer marketing with a major twist? Oh, I see everybody around here just going like, yeah. Okay, so I recommend that go for the elephant in the room here. This is more about content than delivery. Delivery will be next time, but I feel like, influencer marketing has been just beaten to death over the years. So why don't you come in and address the elephant in the room and say, hey, influencer marketing, it ain't dead. In fact, it's barely even tapped. Because the only part of influencer marketing I really hear about in these last 10 years are the celebrities or the sports figures or the Kim Kardashians of the world. Well, that's like 0.1% of the world. You're dealing with 99.9% of the other influencer marketers, aren't you? I know I'm ranting a little bit here, but your market, I mean, is everybody. Everybody can become an influencer marketer like that. And that's what you do for people. So I feel like that opening could be more compelling, and some of that was already captured. So we're out of time. We have about 54 seconds before we really are late. There's more. Come back. Thank you. I love where it's going.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Nathan. Very, very valuable feedback as always from all of the coaches. I think, Ira, you have a lot to take home right now and improve a good pitch even more, to really make it purpose driven. What's the purpose behind it? It's an investor pitch. You have a lot of feedback right now. The recording will be up in about 2-3 hours. I really recommend, go through it, listen to yourself, and then the feedback, and come back in a few weeks. Don't wait too long. Keep the momentum going, because this is this iteration, and get it done. And then everything after that will allow you to really, really amp up your delivery even more. So
beautiful. I want to thank everyone. You guys are great. You're volunteering to do all these things for something. It means a lot to me, and without you guys, I don't know if I'll even make it. Now I'm seeing that there might be a light at the end of the tunnel, and I do appreciate you guys. I mean, spending time and helping everyone to be able to do this. So thank you. I hope I'll be a success story that you taught. So thank you.
Absolutely. And we'll do our best to help you further whenever you can come back, Ira. And with that, we've reached the end of our 30 minutes. Thank you, everyone, for spending your time with us. And yes, 30 minutes is short, but it's a sweet, sweet, sweet 30 minutes that is usually action-packed. And as Nathan says, we rather want to give you solid nourishment than empty calories for 45 or 60 minutes. So with that, I wish you all a great, great day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And we shall see each other again next week. Bye-bye.